In the movie The Reputation meeting, a group of thieves are robbing a safe. In the middle of the operation, their boss gets a call. He answers, and that's when we find out that Rossi is one of the smartest and most dangerous thieves. He answers the call, and his friend Ocean doesn't say anything to him, cancels the operation, and heads straight to the airport. What's going on? Their friend Robin had a heart attack, so they're going to see him. See how loyal friends are? He heard his friend was sick and gave up a big operation just to go see him. Now check out my friend, the real one, always there for you. When they arrived in the country, their friend Lenuski was waiting for them. He picked them up in the car and they headed to the hospital where Robin was staying. Everything seemed real. Once the team was together, Ocean started telling what happened, and now we're going to go back in a flashback to a month earlier to understand everything. At that time, a guy named Bank offered Robin to partner with him in a casino that was going to open in the city. Ocean knew Bank well and knew he was tough, so he immediately refused the idea. But Bank kept talking to Robin, trying to convince him, but Robin kept refusing. But you know, Robin, that's just how he is. Eventually, Bank told him, listen, I'm better than you in business. I'm a smart guy. Let's go in 50-50. So Robin gave him the money and got the license. After a short while, they started building. And as the project was almost finished, Bank took everything for himself. How did he do it? So one day, Bank lured Robin to the construction site, brought his assistant, and ordered him to sign over his share. At first, Robin refused and wanted to fight back, but he was old, and with both of them against him, they could have easily pushed him out. Because of this incident, Robin had a heart attack. Even though Ocean warned him and told him Bank would scam him, Robin still considered him a friend and didn't abandon him. The others also felt bad for him and decided to get his money back from Bank before things got rough. Ocean went to Bank and tried to convince him to return Robin's money, saying it was the right thing to do. The next morning, Ocean went to the construction site to confront him. Peace be upon you. Peace be upon you too. Are you going to give Robin his money back or not? Bank, acting tough, replied, what are you going to do? Threaten me. If you think you can, go ahead. So it was clear he had no intention of returning the money, and they decided to get it back their own way. 7 months passed, and Bank still hadn't paid up. So they started planning how to get Robin's money back. That's when they met a guy named Roman and invited him to join their operation. Roman was a tech whiz, and they offered him $100,000 to help them plan. He agreed, and that's when they started digging into how to rob the bank. Roman was an expert in the field, and they had inside info about the building's layout. Bank had set up a system to only target wealthy clients. If you had $1 million in your account, you could enter. If you showed up with just 8,000 dirhams, the guards would turn you away. Was all this just so you could lose 500 dirhams and end up in a hotel? The place was decked out with the finest marble, the restaurants had professional chefs with years of experience, and the cutlery and bedding were gold-plated. Your salary and mine were probably sitting on a spoon or a fork. These crooks make you feel poor and worthless, like you're living the life of a fly in a palace. If you don't have money, they'll just ignore you. Gut. Bank was practically in control of everything, and the only one he let loose was Marahi. If she wasn't there, he'd probably lose it. And between us, she was a bombshell. But beyond her looks, she was incredibly good at her job and paid attention to the smallest details. One time, she fired an employee just for gaining a kilo in weight. All the equipment was ready and all the clients were set, but they were still only talking about a partial opening. Someone asked, "What do you mean partial opening?" They explained that it meant they'd only let in a limited number of people to test their service, and then a few days later they'd have the grand opening. They found out the grand opening would be on July 3rd, so they decided that would be the day to pull off their heist. There was an award called the 5 Diamond given to the highest rated hotels. Bank had already won it for his previous hotels and casinos, and he was determined to win it for this one at any cost. The main goal of our guys in this operation was to ruin Bank and prevent him from winning the award. Then Rasti met a woman named Meta who worked at the reception. She offered her money to do her a favor and Meta agreed. That's when Rasti started explaining the plan to her and showed her a picture of a guy named David who was coming to do the national evaluation. She told her to put him in room 1706 and then leave. Once they made sure the evaluator would be in the room they wanted, they started looking for the people Bank was counting on to come to his casino. Our guys knocked out his teeth, and with that, they could easily get to one of them named Dennis Shields. Through him, they found out the list of other billionaires. Now all that was left was to make sure those people won at all the games and left with their winnings. Why did they do all this? If they win, the casino loses. And if the casino loses, Bank automatically loses too. Why? Because if they win, especially if they just take their winnings and leave, it's over. But if they stay, keep playing, and lose what they've won. It's a different story. So the first thing they did to make sure the billionaires would win was to have them take their profits and leave right away. That way, Bank would be left with nothing, and they'd ruin him. How did they make them win? The first thing they started with was the game of backgammon. Kadar Bashri invented a device to control it and sent one of Mallory's brothers to the factory where the dice were made and where the game was assembled. After backgammon, they moved on to blackjack. Their friend Mahmida, who worked at the company that made the playing cards and card shuffling machines for the casino, helped them out. With this, they could manipulate the card shufflers to deal the cards however they wanted, even in blackjack, so they knew exactly how to make the billionaires win. In the roulette and slot machine rooms, the operation continued. One morning, the supervisor caught the traitor who worked at the roulette table. He noticed he was stealing spoons and butterflies from the hotel to sell them at some shop. He confronted him and offered to help in exchange for not telling Bank about the theft, and they got him on their side. The same plan was used with the slot machines. The guy who programmed them was poor and deeply in debt. Ocean offered him money in exchange for helping them win. He didn't think twice. Bank had the right to take a $5 million loan from the bank every day, but he had to pay back $500 million in 3 months. With all this, it seemed impossible for him to pay it back, and the bank would surely seize everything. Everything was going smoothly, just as planned. But things don't always go as you wish. One day they got word that the entire casino was being monitored by an artificial intelligence system called the Greek Tracker. This system monitored and analyzed players' behavior to determine if a win was legitimate. How did it work? It's simple. If you win by cheating, the system can analyze your behavior and figure out from your actions that you cheated and didn't deserve the win. The guards are amazed by this. Before you even leave the casino, you'll find them standing right in front of you. I don't know about the case or this device, but he decided to back out. Ocean and Rusty tried to convince him to stay and finish with them, but he refused. He told them, "Look, I know this guy Tracker. I've dealt with him many times and couldn't get past him. He gives us the information we need, and if we can't get around him, then you're on your own." The system is kept in a highly secure, spacious room. If you manage to get in and try to destroy or stop it, the room will lock you inside and won't open again until the guards arrive. If you want to stop it, you can only do so for 3.5 minutes, and after that, it will go back to work. 3.5 minutes is enough for us to pull off our operation. He said this as an example, but our guys decided to create a real disaster to stop it for exactly 3 minutes. Meanwhile, as the billionaires were leaving, they asked what kind of disaster they could create. For example, could they trigger an earthquake to hit the casino? Of course, he said, there's a way. They bought a huge drilling machine that could simulate an earthquake by shaking the sewage pipes. They set it up and Bashri got it ready. Rusty went to Bank and told him, "Your building is in a place where earthquakes can happen and this could be dangerous for your guests." "So what's the solution?" Bank asked. "The only solution is to keep this device with you. It will alert you ahead of time before the earthquake hits, so you'll have time to evacuate the building." At first, he hesitated a bit, but in the end, he took it from him. Meanwhile, Rusty and the others installed a camera on the ceiling of the device to monitor it and track all its movements during the evening. I made up my mind and bought it for the house. Like cleaning staff, they took the card that opens the door from Debbie and headed to room 700. Once inside, they set foot in it. They set up the mosquito net with insects, and we drank bacteria, reading books only under the light, and then they moved on the same day. We will see the origins of the one who has been standing in line for years and his father takes a room in the house. They put it on Abukil, you see him. He put the review book so he understands that he is the one who can rate the hotel. In fact, he stayed so you could see his book and he went to the bird that he had. Hello, sir. My name is Tiryat, a young man. Welcome, sir. Come with me. I'll give you a room on my account, sent directly. David Lim was standing there. They sent him to rate the hotel. Our brother couldn't stand this behavior. He stayed a long time standing in line. And when he reached me at the reception, they sent him to room 1706, where Ocean and I got stuck with the bacteria. He couldn't rest his head as bad smells started coming in through the ventilation ducts. Our friend got angry, called the reception to complain, and Davey answered him, saying they didn't have any outside rooms and hung up on him. At the same time, he heard some talk at the door, went out to see, and found them telling Sol that they actually had plenty of outside rooms and he could choose anyone he wanted. That's it. At that moment, David realized the trick. What should I do? Should I go and cut it short and hope for the best? He headed to the restaurant where Ocean was caught stealing the knife. Did he wipe the agreement? Excuse me, Cayman, they're all full. Go check the Chinese restaurant. In the Chinese restaurant, you'll see one of their guys mixed in with the kitchen staff, handling Dave's order and adding something extra on top. He keeps working on the food, and he sees a wave of a clean room, shocked to find it full of bacteria. What is this? Then we see someone named Tulur inside the casino. Our guy is nicknamed the Night Packer and is considered one of the most dangerous hustlers. He's done a lot of thefts. Enough is enough. Come on, he's in the casino. Who shouted at him later? We'll find out. Their friends signaled, all gathered in a room and joined up with their brothers. They told them the factory is exporting, so what's going to happen? If the sabotage wasn't led by his brother and the workers who are destroying the factory, then their friends are helping him market the products and you'd believe he's destroying the factory. They started thinking and trying to find a solution. In the end, they decided to help his brother stop and go back to the factory. Our guys didn't stay there, so they left. Now in the summer, call him directly. The owner is moving the drill that will break through. The earthquake ruined it and they need another drill. How much does the drill cost? $36 million. How much? $36 million. Our guys lost almost everything they had to fund the operation. They keep going until they're exhausted, pulling out everything they had hidden, and at most they reached 10 million. At this point, they had two options, either cancel the operation or find someone to fund them. In the evening, we see them in Terry Benedict's office, offering him the deal. Terry Benedict, with the rival bank, is in the spot. He agreed, but he had two conditions. The first condition, they pay him back double. The second, they steal the bank's jewels, which he profits from by evaluating the vault. And those jewels are hard to steal. Look, this condition is non-negotiable. Sell them, destroy them. The important thing is they don't keep them. Our guys saw this and agreed. At night, they gathered to plan the jewel heist. They studied everything. Each one took his role, and in the morning, they started executing. What's this plan they made? How will they pull it off? Wait, you'll understand everything. That morning, the Chinese guy arrived in Las Vegas, supposedly a billionaire, with his assistant at the restaurant. The bank's guide was waiting for them, welcomed them, and when she heard the Chinese guy was a billionaire planning to gamble 10 million in the casino, she reserved the best suite for him. She didn't let them in, and she's not coming to them. Ocean and Rusty opened the ventilation channels, brought up the Chinese guy, and kept waiting for him. The Chinese guy was acting like a weasel, hanging here and there, until he reached under the room where the bank kept the jewels they wanted to steal. He stuck underneath them with explosives, and his friends were ready. In the morning, Ocean, Rusty, and Linus were in a clothing store. We see the Night Packer watching them from afar. The Chinese guy is outside, my friend wanting to get in, and Dungel. At that moment, one of the Mallory twins called them. What's going on? Chaos. The workers are demanding $35,000 to stop the strike. If you want it tomorrow, send them the money. They did. And once the workers got it, they finished making the dice. Meanwhile, the Mallory brothers took advantage of the opportunity, afraid the dough wouldn't stick to the magnet, so they used it to control the dice. Once they solved that problem, they continued planning the jewel heist. That same evening, Rusty went up to the roof of the room where the diamond jewels were kept, set up some hooks in the vent, ran a rope along the side, and from the left moved to his friends at Terry Benedict's place. According to their conversation, it wouldn't be too hard for them to steal the jewels. They started thinking, trying to find a solution. In the end, the only idea they had was to get Linus close to the bank's assistant, let her take him to the room with the jewels, and at that moment, find a chance to knock her out and replace her with someone else in disguise. The plan might seem very difficult, but by God's grace, it worked. If it didn't, they'd try to make the billionaires win as much money as possible and leave. Days passed and the opening day arrived. In the evening, we see Ocean entering the casino with his friends. The billionaires arrived at the same time. The rigged dice our guys made were delivered to the tables, and someone was distributing them. We see Hamida Dejan Turk installing the card shuffling machines, working as usual, everything going smoothly. Until that moment, an FBI agent stopped him. The bank was shocked. What's going on? Oh, turns out he's a big criminal. We've been watching him for a long time, and now you're using the card shuffling machines. The bank heard this and got angry, started cursing, and said they'd all end up in jail. He ordered someone to change the machines. And who's the one who's going to change the machines? Roman. In reality, our guys were the ones who tricked the bank and the FBI. They did this whole charade just to get them to order all the card shuffling machines to be changed so they could swap the casino's machines with the ones the crew had rigged. The fake machines were distributed to the tables and roulette wheels ready to deal poker cards, and the programmer who worked with them made sure that no one could win unless they wanted them to. Meanwhile, Linus went up to the bank, knocked out one of the guards with a gas that acts like a sedative, making the women faint, you get the idea, and contacted the boss, telling her he needed something. It didn't take long before she was at the door. He sprayed her with the gas and she passed out. But since he was the only man left on the floor, she tried to resist. But you know how it goes. Our guy spent the whole time dodging her, and when she asked him about the situation, he told her he was afraid the boss would come, so he moved to another spot. When things got heated or there was a fight, he had a solution. Go to the bank room so the boss would be busy with the opening. That's exactly what our guy wanted. When he got to the bank room, he asked her for a drink, left her there, and started planting explosives on the display case with the diamond jewels. Back in the gaming hall, Rusty and Ocean were spreading their billionaire friends around the tables. Ruben showed up looking worse than the last time they saw him and thanked them for what they were doing for him. Just then, boom, the bank saw the place shaking and rushed to the room with the AI system. When the technicians arrived, they asked what caused the explosion. Our guys with the drill set off the earthquake in the casino and the whole building started shaking. When this happened, the AI system that detects cheating shut down and needed 3.5 minutes to reboot. The bank tried to get to the door, but it was locked. He tried to call the managers and ordered them to stop the main betting, but nothing was working. With all this going on, Ocean gave his crew the signal to bet everything they had. While everyone was moving, they were playing the machines, playing blackjack, playing craps, playing roulette. At the same time, our friends were closing the game so only they could play and win, knowing they were moving through the casino. That day, the whole place was in chaos. He was shouting here, shouting there. Everything was out of control. He hit his friends and his crew, and he had to get the system back up and leave the room before they caught him. When the system came back online, they contacted the twins, Don and Z. From the start, they let everyone leave. Whoever won filled their pockets and left. No one was stopping them. Take your winnings and go. The bank was yelling, trying to convince them to come back, but nothing worked. At the same time, Linus and the assistant were in the jewel room when their friends, disguised as FBI agents, burst in. FBI, hands up! They asked her, what's going on? The guy with her was a big thief and con artist. Look, he's got fake jewels with him, planning to swap them for the real ones. They handcuffed her and took her out. They took Linus and brought him to the group. At that moment, Terry Benedict called the crew who were with him and told them to get out of there and take the jewel team before they escaped. He had them picked up by helicopter and left straight away with Linus, taking them first. Then Ruben came and told Linus he was watching him and to use a weapon if needed. In the end, he ran after them, loaded his gun, and took them. He thought he had caught them, but what he didn't know was that he only got the fake jewels. The real ones were taken by Linus, who escaped using a zip line. They pressed the button for the helicopter, detonated the explosives planted under the display case, and as you heard, boom, they blew the glass and took the jewels from the case. It was a beautiful move. The bank was at the door, stunned by what had happened. He told his friend, give me back that tape I gave you. The bank realized that wasn't the whole story, so he shut it down and removed it. Did you see those jewels I had? Soon we'll have 250 million. We'll sell them and use the money to get revenge on you and your friends. He kept telling me this, all cocky, but he still hadn't caught them. They handed over the jewels from the display case, got their 250 million, and went off to celebrate with their friends. They replaced Terry Benedict while he was celebrating with his friends and kept passing the jewels around as they celebrated. They told me, you're going to start hearing from us from now on, from fire to fire. He told me you could gamble, and in the morning, Benedict was in his office when someone came in and told him, you can only beat the house with the money you've got. He told him, you can pay me back double. When he saw them, he knew they were robbing him. He gathered everyone and told them to keep quiet, and they started collecting the loot. After our guys sold the jewels, they got their money, split what was left, and each took his share and went on with his life. You see, their friendship is real. They joke around, make bets, and whenever someone runs out of money or gets robbed, it's no big deal. They just let it go. That's true friendship. Anyway, if we ever make a group like this, whoever wants to join, send me a message on Instagram and see if you can keep up. May God bless you. And with that, we've reached the end of the story. If you liked it and want us to do part 4, let me know in the comments and try to get this video to 40,000 likes. Most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. See you in the next video. Peace.